So I've been wanting to talk about this for a few days now, and I haven't really gotten around to it. I guess now is when I'm gonna be doing that. If any of you have played Ark recently, whether it's Ascended or Evolved, well, Ascended is just to put it bluntly, not doing well. Okay, there's a good bit of issues wrong with it. A lot of people just see it as mainly a cash grab. And a lot of people also don't have hope that they're going to see a sequel to Ark as they thought Ascended was going to be in the first place. I mean, come on, they didn't hire Vin Diesel for nothing, right? Don't get me wrong though, there were a ton of issues with Ark back in the day. Although it wasn't really from a gameplay perspective, like from, it was easier to run, okay? You had fun playing the game sometimes. It wasn't just a shitty remaster for the sake of doing it, you know? There are different ways to play the game. There are PvP servers, PvE servers for anybody who would want to do that, raise their dinos, make a settlement, breed them, whatever the fuck you want. The world is your oyster, Now, I would have tried Ascended way back whenever I actually got back into playing Ark for about a week or so there. But my friend persuaded me not to, saying, oh, well, why would we pay like fucking 40, 60 bucks for a game, an experience that's the exact fucking same, because that's what it was, but it only looks like maybe, 10% better for 30, 40 more gigs, like some huge amount of space. It'll look like shit, run like shit, and basically nothing else has changed. What else has really changed in Ascended, honestly? Because you might be able to name like a handful of things, but I mean, not much has changed. And what has changed has really been for the worse, because no matter where you look, nobody is singing this game's praises. Nobody really likes playing it, wants to play it. They're waiting for Ark 2, or whatever they would call it, okay? Now, what's interesting, I'm not sure about the studio, but I didn't really hear anything about Wildcard. I don't know if they're still behind it, or somebody else is picking up the slack, because the Survival Evolved came out, 12 years ago or some shit, so it's an old game. Hence the fucked up remaster. But we're not going to talk about that. To be honest, the gameplay formula can't really change much, because that's the way Ark is. You tame dinosaurs, you raise them, okay, you fight them, you fight other people with them, you might have a clan. If you ever played Atlas or if ever heard of it, you probably fucking haven't. It was Ark's little spin-off game about pirates. They brought it up to the 1800s. It was okay. It wasn't bad. The main thing about Atlas was fucking vitamins, okay? And it also had a grappling hook, which is really cool. But, it was honestly the same thing, except there weren't really dinosaurs. It was a little bit different, okay? There was just more of an emphasis on pirate ships, naval battle, that type of shit. There was even primitive AI, you could hunt for treasure maps and shit. Anyway, it kind of fucking bombed because nobody was playing it. There wasn't any funding, any money towards it, so they kind of just have stopped updating it for a year or two now or some shit. And there's been no communication, no feedback on it, so it kind of just died. And well, I mean, honestly, Ark is kind of going the same way. I don't think we're ever going to see an Atlas 2, an Atlas remaster. We might just have a couple community servers of 15, 20, 30 people if we're lucky for Atlas ever again. And it's not even a joke, man. There's maybe a couple hundred players at best. And the Ascended situation I don't think is doing much better either. Except instead of a couple hundred, it'll be a couple thousand. 2, 3, 4, 5,000. There's not going to be that many people playing that shit, man. They're going to move on to something else. They're not going to want to play it. Especially if none of them are having a good time. If you ask me, man, you can easily go back to Evolved. There are plenty of servers still up on Evolved, and there were a few that I looked at before I chose what I was playing. But eventually we moved on to something else, just like we do. But that's just us, okay? One of you guys out there might stay on the fucking server for months at a time. I don't know how you play games. You might fucking love how Evolved was, and you might want to really go back to it. You might have missed it, and it's good compared to Ascended. Okay, Ascended is a fucking mistake. It shouldn't have happened, or if it should have happened, then it should have happened better than it did. Okay, because it's just a colossal fuck up. Okay, from all angles. I'm not saying make the same fucking game twice, but I mean, at this point you kind of have to, because it's what, a remaster, a remake, a reboot, whatever the fuck. So maybe add a couple new things, but mostly just upscale the fucking textures, make it look better, but don't make it 300 gigabytes like you work at Activision. Nobody wants to fucking spend that much time downloading the game, man. Making space on their 1 terabyte hard drive. Fucking. And for people who have shitty internet, it's even worse, because you can't download it in half an hour, 2 hours. You have to wait like a fucking day or two, man. Usually just a day, but you get my point. It's fucking stupid. Nobody should have to wait that much time for their game. And games are just getting worse with their storage requirements anyway. So, but hey, it's just I don't know, okay? It's hard to get the message through to developers about optimization, because half the time they just treat it like a fucking meme anyway. Oh, well, you just need to get a better computer. You shouldn't have to worry about optimization, because if your computer was good enough, then you'd just be able to run it anyway, right? And that's sort of the mindset you're dealing with. So you have to make up a shitty argument to deal with that, because it's not always on the consumer, okay? If you make your game not run correctly, surprise, it's not gonna fucking run correctly. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Would I consider going back to Ark if things were changed, if the remaster, like if it was spoken well about, if I heard good things, if maybe if Ark 2 comes out and everybody has high hopes for the trailer? Would I pre-order the game? No, I wouldn't fucking pre-order the game. And you know why? Because pre-ordering is a fucking joke nowadays. The last game I thought about pre-ordering, I really thought about pre-ordering, was Stalker 2. And it wasn't... No, man, okay, no. As close as I did come to pre-ordering, I held my ground on that one, and thankfully I did. Or maybe I can pick it up on sale, on discount, because buying it for $60, let alone like $200 or $300 or however much the collector's edition was, no thank you, man. I would have felt scammed, I would have felt conned. And a lot of video games nowadays are following that example shamelessly, and they don't give a fuck. You gotta watch out for this shit, man. And because eventually, if you do enough times, you get burned often enough, you will come to fucking understand. That's all you need to do. And when you do that, you will understand that you need to deprive companies of their money. And when you do that, they will begin to understand. And that's all I really have to say about that.